Happy lunch hour, gang. All right. So, how your bills piling up? Pretty good, You know, rent, food, electric, gas. Remember, I've told you guys before the average income in the United States, all of us combined, is about $55,000 for a family of four. Okay, that's the average household income in the United States. How many of you make that much? Oh, before paying for your food or your housing or anything else. I want you to watch something real quick.
This is interesting that you have like one parent and one kid, one parent, one kid. Yeah. Right? They're not together, are they? No. One parent, one kid, one parent, one kid. That is because they get Social Security. What's the benefit of it?
Well, they get a check every month.
You get a check.
Yeah, a cost of living check along with housing and food and free medical.
How much is the cost of living check?
From my understanding, I've heard it's around $2,200.
It's for one parent, one kid, and then
Yeah.
And then, do you think that the scam here is that the other parent, if there's another kid that's coming in, and they double dip?
Oh, yes.
Is that what's going on?
Yes. Very easy. Very easy. Plus, they get a ticket to wherever they want to go.
That was an interview with a Border Patrol agent who is telling us that all these illegals that are coming across the border, they're splitting up. One adult grabs one kid, whether or not they're related or anything like that. But notice how in there, as he mentioned, it was all supposedly single parents. Why? Because a single adult with a single kid gets $2,200 from Joe, plus free food, free housing, a free phone, and a ticket to wherever they want to go. Send more of them to Boston, Chicago, New York, and California if we're going to do this. So mom and dad, who have two kids, each walk in with one, each one of them gets $2,200. $4,400. Do the math on that, guys. That's 50 grand. And then you get free housing and free food and a free phone and free everything else. Why would these people work? They don't need to. So what do? They take all those Biden bucks, send it right back to their family in Mexico and say, here's the money to pay the cartels, to pay the coyotes, to get you up in the border. Grab your niece, nephew, whatever would be with you, and come on up here, and you too can get your check for $2,200, and this becomes perpetual. We've opened this door to these people coming in over and over and over and over again. Now, the average Social Security recipient in the United States gets $1,200, $1,000 less than a single person coming across the border. The people in Maui got $700. A family, $1,500 less than a single person with a kid, or what are we talking at that? $3,900 less, $3,800 less than a $3,700 less, do the math, than mom, dad, and their two kids. But those are citizens. How many homeless vets do we have? How many just plain old homeless do we have? But no, let's give all the money to people who have never paid a dime in taxes, who don't speak English, who have never done anything to better this country whatsoever, society as a whole. Let's give them all the money. Because, hey, we've got so much leftover money after just giving Ukraine another $40 million today. Does anybody else get the idea that we went from an America First president to an America Last president? This is the thing. You know what? They all talked. Remember, I was going to unify the country. That was Biden's deal. He was going to bring everybody together. He is single-handedly, with his policies, turning this country into a racial divide and trying to start a race war. Now, are there plenty, boatloads, of good Hispanics, good Asians, good whites, good blacks in this country? Absolutely. But here's where the problem lies. It's not like somebody wears a tag on their shirt, like a little yellow star maybe, that says, I'm an illegal, right? So now, all the people who are of Hispanic origin, let's just start there, with the people that are coming from Mexico or El Salvador or Guatemala or whatever it is, okay? Anybody that's of Hispanic ancestry now gets looked at with a little bit different eye, because unless you know them, are they illegal? Are they legal? Are they a citizen? Or are they just here to milk the system? Remember what we went through after 9/11, where anybody that was of Middle Eastern descent, the overwhelming thought in the minds of the American citizenry was, is this person a terrorist? Right? Remember that. I mean, everybody, if you didn't think it, you certainly knew somebody who did. You looked a little bit closer, made sure that, something wasn't weird. But look what Joe's trying to get us to. He is trying to start a racial war in this country with his policies. He is trying to meet. Obama was the great divider, and Joe's answer was hold my beer. Okay. Nobody in this country who has worked hard, who has served, who has voted, okay, done any of their civic duties, sat on a jury duty, whatever it is, paid taxes, should have to suffer anything for what we're giving a bunch of people who have done none of those things a free life. The days of America being a melting pot, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, those are gone. Joe destroyed that. It used to be a privilege to enter the United States, not a human right, okay? And y'all have heard me tell you the stories about the literally pounds of paperwork I had to come up with to bring Mrs. P here. You know the hoops we had to jump through to bring Mrs. P here. Interviews and biometrics appointments and driving all over God's green earth multiple times over about 4 years to get her to be a citizen of the United States. She never got a check from the government, hey, welcome here. I got a notice that you're responsible for her for 10 years. Even if you divorce, there is no, she's not eligible for welfare or food stamps or anything like that. You're completely responsible for it. No problem. I took that on and off and running we go. Hey, you can come across the border. Who gives a rat's ass? Nope. The government. Joe's like, I married everybody. I'll be responsible for them forever. The problem is, it doesn't come out of his paycheck or his ill-gotten money. It comes out of yours and mine. And we're watching over and over and over and over again. The American people get screwed, and the illegals, the people who have zero right to be here, taking everything that you've worked hard for in your life and throwing it right back in your face. Anybody that votes for this jackass next year needs to have their head examined and then removed. It is just incomprehensible to me that anybody in their right mind thinks this is a good idea. You've got the governor of Massachusetts declaring a state of emergency. New York, Mayor Adams in New York saying that New York is never going to be the same. You've got Karen Bass in Los Angeles trying to sue Greg Abbott for sending all these illegals there. But they voted to be sanctuary states. They wanted this. Now that they got it, they don't want it. It's the old NIMBY principle. Not in my backyard. We want to be opening and welcome to everybody. as long as they're in your yard and you're paying for them, because we don't want to do that. Okay? No, I'll tell you this. I don't want to be a sanctuary city. I don't want to be a sanctuary state. God knows I ain't going to be a sanctuary household. Okay? No, I'm sorry. You're not going to say, you got an extra bedroom. You got to house it illegal. You know, I got an extra casket we can house one in. That would be fine. Okay? But why does anybody support this? And why would anybody vote for this? I know what everybody says about 2020, okay? Whether we talk about the, trying to choose my words here, the creative accounting that was used in the tallies, okay? Whether it was people didn't vote for Biden, they voted against Trump, okay? Whatever it would be. But how in the freaking world, where we are, 14 months away from another election, how in the world does this asshole have one vote? Who can tell me their life is better now than it was 4 years ago? There ain't a single person in this country that can say that, except maybe Joe and Hunter, who've made a lot of money fleecing the rest of us. Anytime somebody comes up to you and says, there's no way I could vote for a Republican, ask them this, especially if they're getting any sort of government service, which you figure a lot of Democrats, they make up the majority of the ones getting, social services anyway. How comfortable they are getting their $1,000 a month where there's an illegal family getting $4,400. Is that fair? And when they say yes, go back to my aforementioned, have their head examined. Pinball out.